Uncle Dan.
Hey, what?
How are you?
What do you want?
Nothing. I just wanted to point out that we live in a wonderful, wonderful world full of wonders.
You know what it is? It's a magical world.
According to a certain point of view, it's a
think-
magical world.
It's true.
What isn't magical?
It's true. And you know, I have a wonderful thing to talk about today, and I'm glad that for once this year we're doing it together, juntos, in person, in studio.
Yeah.
Because Uncle Dan, I can tell you're feeling a little blue.
A little blue.
A little blue. And I can tell, Uncle Doug, you're feeling
Horny.
a little puce.
Oh,
You're feeling a little puce. Now, how would I know that?
it can be both things.
I just don't know why you'd say horny when your brother just said, "I'm glad we're all in the room together." That feels strange.
Well, it's been a while.
It's complicated.
It has
Yeah.
been.
So, I needed a subject this week that did not involve horrendous crimes against children and a body count. So I went with something that absolutely does not, and it's so wonderfully stupid that I think we're all going to enjoy ourselves quite a bit. And the reason I said that you two boys are experiencing some kind of color
Yeah,
is because
because I got a tan.
we all have color, don't we?
Well, not the three of us.
We all have color.
Is pale a color?
So let's just get into it. If you guys have a friend if anyone has a friend of a certain age, maybe one that attended Woodstock, maybe burned either a draft card or a bra, or even someone with an address in Taos or Santa Fe, New Mexico, or Berkeley or Boulder, they may be maybe a little free with the colors they see in people. And no, I'm not accusing your Aunt Sunflower or Uncle Starfire of being racist, though they may be that too. These days in America, it seems racism is back and better than ever. So, but we're not talking about
They're definitely racist.
that. Yeah, they probably are. Most uncles are racist, just hopefully not us. So, no, I'm not accusing them of being racist. I'm accusing them of being silly and believing they can see something that is objectively not there. Your free love and tarot friends think every human or soul has a color, or more than one, and those full-body hippie halos are called auras.
Yes.
Hooray!
Aren't they just?
The beautiful auras. So, aura is the Greek word for breeze or breath. So that's nice, right, guys?
Or the driving Miss Daisy word for the letter aura.
Aura. But the idea of a colored radiance as individual as a fingerprint, which is a little kooky since there really are only 7 prismatic colors, but I digress, is not an ancient Greek idea, not at all. It actually first vibrated into this dimension from the mind of one Charles Webster Leadbetter, a prominent fixture in the exploding esoteric spiritualist movement of the late 19th and early 20th century. Now, as you guys recall, we've talked about the weird, wonderful, and wooey esoteric movement before.
Oh, yeah.
With figures like the great beast Aleister Crowley in episode 88, and the actual little ghost tribe that Leadbetter himself emerged from when we discussed Helena Blavatsky, which is a hard word to say, but if you imagine Jerry Lewis doing it, you'll get through it. And the Theosophy movement in episode 54.
Yeah.
In short, these mostly Western people looked to what were then the highly exotic ideas of Hinduism and Buddhism from the East, took a pinch of this and a dash of that, and threw in some secret handshakes and a few funny hats, and presto, a whole bunch of wonderfully stupid stuff for future podcasters to giggle about was birthed. So, back to Leadbetter and his color thingy. We know we can take his theories for real because after he left his post as a priest in the Church of England, he studied Theosophy in India. Yeah, he was in the C of E.
I like it.
Yeah. Where he became enthralled by the ideas of chakras, which are also not a thing, but the idea is that they're mystical energy points in the body.
Yeah.
Leadbetter associated them all with an organ and a color. He said he could see these colors that emanated from the chakra points. And like I said before, we know we can take his ideas to the bank because he also believed that most men come from Mars, but the most evolved men come from the moon,
Obviously.
Yeah, and that hydrogen atoms were made of 6 little beings inside a tiny egg.
Take
So
that, whoever the guy was that wrote Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus.
yeah, I couldn't find his position on the planetary origin of women.
Right, yeah, no.
But maybe he wasn't interested because, as you may remember from our discussion about the Theosophist movement, he later had to kind of go away because of accusations that he was getting handsy with the young men. So
Check.
Yeah, check. Classic.
By the way, Moon Men. None of those Mars guys. This guy was a full-on
Quality moon man.
He wants the high quality
Yeah,
stuff.
and what Doug was just referring to with check was our often mentioned cult bingo card.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Which our wonderful listener and patron, Ivana Tinkle, created for us, and you can find it on our Twitter. We'll probably put it on the website somewhere too, so thanks, Ivana. That was super awesome.
Yeah.
So, Ledbetter shuffled off to the big Victorian drawing room in the sky in 1934, and his totally true theory of auras sat unused and unloved. That is until the New Age movement of the late 60s through the 1980s found itself needing just one more piece of unverifiable balderdash to believe in, and so auras suddenly achieved a full spectrum dominance in the world of crystal bullshit that Ledbetter could only have dreamed of.
I want Crystal Bullshit to be the name of our new band that you and I, the three of us are going to start.
Real, I thought it should be our new sugar-free drink mix. Right?
Ledbetter's Crystal Bullshit.
So the portal to which auras rose to that prominence opened in 1977 when a Technicolor kook by the name of Christopher Hills took Ledbetter's ideas and dressed them up in a very thin veneer of pseudoscientific piffle in his book, Nuclear Evolution, The Rainbow Body. So what I love, like, every time we start digging into one of these things, it just becomes more and more wonderful by the page. So, known as the father of the spirulina nutrition fad, and branded by such a distinguished person as himself as the modern Merlin, he was also the founder of the University of the Trees, where students met in the California redwoods to learn radionics and water dowsing. So, like Ledbetter, what greater scientific authority could we have to assure us that auras are indeed real? And before you doubt such authorities as Ledbetter and the dean of the University of the Trees, there is proof auras exist, dear uncles, by way of Kirlian photography.
I was going to say.
Have you heard of Kirlian photography?
Yeah, I know that they will take your picture.
They will take a picture, that's for sure.
Tell you about your auras.
It's also known as electrophotography. So suck on that, rainbow haters. If you know any hippie girls on Instagram, I'm looking at you, Doug, you may have seen some, or you don't know them, but you surely stalk them. You may have seen some of this aura photography. You see, in the late 1930s, a Russian guy was developing a photo plate and somehow discovered that an object on that plate left a weird, glowy image if an electrical current was passed over it. Aura believers swear this is proof of auras, so shut the fuck up, they're real. Well, people who got science degrees, just not ones from the University of the Trees, have extensively tested Kirlian photography, and the very simple scientific explanation is that living things, how to put this delicately, are moist.
Yeah.
Yes. And an electrical current passing over our damp meat sleeves reacts to the moisture on and evaporating off our skin, causing the light-sensitive emulsion of photographic paper to record a faint glow. That's it. Nothing more.
Yeah. AKA, we have auras. What's hard about this?
We have
Mark?
moisture auras. We're just moist. That's it. So, with the only nearly scientific evidence of auras debunked, surely its devotees and practitioners could prove the reality of auras in clinical settings, and so they did. Not. In one very extensive test, 4 opaque screens were placed in a room under extremely tight clinical control conditions. Over the course of the test, 10 self-described aura seers and a control group of 9 non-aura seers were asked to say which of the 4 screens a person was standing behind.
Right.
Because their aura would extend above the top of the screen. Over 36 sessions and 1,449 individual trials, the results were what the scientists called non-significant.
Right.
Meaning no better than the odds of chance, except for the 9 non-aura seeing control group who did very slightly better than their third eye equipped test mates. So, if a mere 1,500 failures don't convince you, may I introduce none other than the amazing Randy.
Hey!
If you're unfamiliar with this brilliant wizard of rational thinking, please go back and listen to Uncle Dan's segment on Randy's brilliant debunking of the loathsome Christian scammer Peter Popoff in episode 57. You will not regret it. So Randy has made a career of flummoxing shysters and scammers like Popoff and Uri Geller, who we'll talk about another time because that guy's
Sure
fucking
will. Yeah.
ridiculous. So He invited some aura readers to come on television and prove their abilities. And because so many kooks are drunk on their own Kool-Aid, some actually agreed. So in one show, a reader was told a number of hidden positions across the room had either real humans or mannequins in them, and was asked to say which was which. She failed spectacularly when she claimed they were all human, and they were not. On another show, 5 real people were silhouetted behind screens. The reader said he could see their very individual auras as individuals' fingerprints. The subjects were asked to step out from behind the screen, and the reader was asked to place them back in the order by identifying their same auras. He got 2 out of 5, so that was 1 better than statistical chance. The always erudite Randy said, well, at least you tried. So here's a very funny little aside.
Yeah, we should pause and just say that, like, anything 2 out of 5, even 3 out of 5, it's easy for that to just be accidental.
Right.
Right.
If he had gotten 5 out of 5 and then been able to repeat that 3
There's
or 4
something
times,
there. Yeah.
then that would be a thing.
Right.
But yeah, just
No.
anything less than 5 out of 5, and you need to acknowledge that it's bullshit.
Even if it was 4 out of 5, I'd be like,
Well, that was lucky.
that's a interesting
I
parlor
don't
trick.
think
So,
you can get 4 out of 5.
Well, you know, if you do, do it again.
If you get, I'm saying if you get 4 people into the right space, doesn't that 5th one just automatically slot in?
I don't care for your math shaming at this point, all right? So, enough of this falderall. So here's a funny little aside. You know how it is, dear uncles, as I kind of mentioned before, when we dive into these subjects and start flipping over the stones, there's inevitably a zillion other little derp bugs scurrying around in the slimy dampness. One such critter led me to something called, and I shit you not, color puncture.
Oh no.
Here is the introductory paragraph on Wikipedia. And I quote, color puncture, or color light acupuncture, is a modern form of acupuncture where colored lights can be used to stimulate acupuncture points to promote healing and better health. It is a form of color therapy. Here comes the sentence. Scientific support for the efficacy of color puncture is abundant.
Oh,
Whoa.
nice.
I had a glass of 2 wine, so after blinking a couple times, I decided to read that again. And yep, that's what it said. Now, I know Wikipedia is an open source encyclopedia and that shit like this happens, but I was kind of stunned nonetheless. So I screen capped the paragraph and tweeted, hey, at Wikipedia, this is some seriously dangerous bullshit. Christmas lights applied to the chakras do not cure anything. So, to my huge surprise, within about 15 minutes, listener Kavi Gupta informed me it was fixed, and he had fixed it.
Oh.
So how about that? So now if you go to the color puncture page, that's a thing, where it once said scientific support for the efficacy of color puncture is abundant, it now says there is no anatomical or histological basis for the existence of acupuncture points or meridians, and there is no scientific support for the efficacy of color puncture. So fuck yeah, Wikipedia wizard Kavi Gupta.
There you go.
Your move, big color puncture. So anyway,
You do know that you could have just edited that if you wanted to.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it's the wiki part.
Oh,
We can all just sort of go.
can I
with
just
Wiki,
believe
wiki.
that was a special moment?
it. Yeah, you can. You
So-
obviously are capable of that. That's clear.
And I just wanted to say his name because it's awesome, Kavi Gupta. So
Yeah.
at the end of all this poppycock, the odds are that anyone claiming to see auras is just lying. It's essentially a form of doing an astrology chart or any kind of cold reading. Tell someone something so vague about what their colors say, and they'll believe it. This is true. A guy once told me the burnt orange of my aura meant I was a wise old soul. Now, listeners will laugh at that since I've made it pretty clear over almost 100 episodes that I'm an eternal 12-year-old.
Yes.
But there just might be a slim chance your crazy aunt who lives in a log might not be lying to you about seeing something. I myself am a migraine sufferer, and I do experience what neuroscience actually calls visual auras,
Yeah.
which for me are very vexing shapes and cycling prismatic colors that cause me to go partially blind for short periods, especially whenever Dan's talking. Other people have different forms of auras that may actually cause of neuroscience, psychological auras or neuromechanical auras that may cause them to believe what they're seeing is emanating from other people's bodies rather than their own brains. Another possible explanation is a very rare condition called synesthesia,
Yeah.
where people's sensory centers are cross-wired in different ways. So some taste words and hear colors, etc. There is a condition in synesthesia where people describe seeing a very strong color association when you simply say the name of an acquaintance or show them a picture of them.
Yeah, I've heard of this. A lot of synesthetes have, numbers have colors. So the
Yeah.
number 2 is green or the number 6 is purple. And there's going to be a synesthete who's listening right now who's like, no, 6 is green.
Yeah, that's
what
right.
are you talking about? But yes, I mean, I can
Was
see.
Jerry Seinfeld a listener of our show?
I did.
What
Whatever.
are you talking about?
You went Ed McMahon 5 minutes ago, so I don't think you can get on me about
Ed McMahon. Sorry, young listeners, we'll get off these totally stupid references quickly. But so this particular form of synesthesia is, the whole issue is quite rare. The whole occurrence.
Right.
This is a very rare occurrence even within it. So even if one of these people thinks they're seeing auras, they are not. And outside of this vanishingly rare condition, anyone else who says they see them is lying. So don't give them money. And it's true of all psychics. Don't take life or health advice from an aura reader.
No. But maybe have some fun. You can ask them a bunch of questions. You can have some fun with it. Just
You can street epistemologize an
Yeah,
aura reader
exactly.
for sure.
or just like have them tell you shit and then, see how close they get.
Yeah. Or just have a friend keep walking around with a hat on and with a hat off. Say, oh, what's his? What's his?
Change his shirts.
Yeah, change his shirts.
Well.
So that's auras, guys. It's
Orange, you glad he didn't say moist again?
Oh my God.
yellow. So bad. We've just devolved into sports and puns on this fucking show. There's no excusing any of it.
Let's move
so.
on before it gets worse.
Let's move on.